estamos a punto de tomar esta barca. Nos subimos aquí con los turistas y ahí tenemos la isla. Aquí ¿qué hay? Thank you. Thank you.
Aja fokuno, ni kuno ba jaro aka jambo kuno. Ni maswa jaja.
Aquí vamos bajo el huevo, stop the Gambia.
La isla de Kunta Kinte.
Kunta Kinte, Isla de Kunta Kinte.
Yeah.
Not Cuba. The island is St. Andrews Island, James Island, and Kunta Kinte Island.
Yeah, three names,
Three
eh.
names.
Bueno, pues aquí estamos en la famosa isla de Kunta Kinte. Ya. Muchos bawas.
Yeah.
The head is Senegal, the tongue is Gambia.
Yeah.
In the middle, surrounded by Senegal. This is north bank of the Gambia. That's the southern part of the Gambia.
Okay.
The Gambia also, River Gambia also, if you take a look, salt water starts from here to here. But from here to here is a fresh water. So the more you go inside, it gets smaller. This other side, then you have the Atlantic Ocean. This is the city Banjul. Then you cross with the ferry, you come here, you drive here. We are here now, James Fort. Yeah, but from here to here is a salt water. And then from here to here is a fresh water.
Okay.
It was in 14th century. James Island was natural. No one lived on the island. It was a resting ground for the fishermen by the locality. The island is 2 times bigger than this, but because of the erosion, the island is getting smaller. Every day is getting smaller. That's why the World
Until
Bank,
today.
that's the World Bank gives some money to Gambia government so that they can preserve the island. For 2026, they will start the physical job so they can preserve the island. But James Island also is 30 kilometers in the map of the River Gambia, and it's awaiting collection of the Middle Passage, both North Bank and the South. All the slaves in Gambia will be here for 2 to 3 weeks, and they will hold them in small cells. When the big ship come, they will transport them to America. Then the family member will never see their relative, and they will never come back again. That's why James Island played a very important role. In 1456, the Portuguese people first came here.
Yes.
One of their men called St. Andrew, he died here. Then island was named after him. Because his first Christian man died in the Gambia, and island was named after him. In 1561 also, we have a Letland people. Latvia is a small province near Russia. They came here to establish an empire to build this island. 10 years later, we have English people. When they also came, they changed the name of the island from Portuguese name to Fort James Island. It was named after James, Duke of York in England. In 1719, the pirates also came from Europe. They also seized the island to carry away all the company's property and the slaves. 1725, there's a big explosion. Island was destroyed. It was accidentally killed 11 Europeans with many slaves. That's why you don't see no roof because of the explosion. In 1830, island was abandoned by the English. No one lived on the island. The last name of this island was Kunta Kinte Island because of Jermaine, the brother of Michael Jackson. He came here in 2009. He said it was very important we change the name of the island from English name to Kunta Kinte Island. That was 6th day of February 2011. They changed the name of the island. Yeah, but West Africa was more affected badly because of the islands we have. Because it's a final destination for the slaves. When you arrive on the island, you will never go back to your family. You have Fort James Island in Gambia, you go to Senegal, you have Gore Island. Then you have Almina Castle in Ghana, Timbuktu in Mali, Venezuela in Freetown, that's present-day Sierra Leone. Then you have Gold Coast in Guinea-Conakry. In 15th century, the Portuguese, they moved to East African coast. There's a place called Zanzibar in Tanzania. That's why you have the eastern coast of Africa and the western coast of Africa. The reason why we don't point finger to the European, there are slavery among Africans themselves. That's why we don't blame European. Yeah? Because the Arab people also first came before the European came. That was in 13th century.
Before the Europeans and
Came,
Americans
it was
there
Arabs.
already...
Arabs.
Arabs.
There are slavery
Okay.
trade among Africans themselves.
Okay, yeah.
And in 13th century, we have Arab people live in northern Africa, Morocco, Egypt, and Ethiopia. They also start slavery. They took people to northern this part of Africa, transport them to northern Africa. So they work as a domestic slaves. They don't stop there. They transport them to southern Spain in a place called Andalusia. You have Sevilla, Cordoba, Toledo, and Granada. So there are Muslim slaves. They stay in Spain for many years, but Spaniards don't like that. They said any boat carrying slave from Morocco to Spain, they have to baptize. If they don't do that, Spain will be the Arab country. That's why their city is called Madrid. That was the Arab names. You also go to Suriname. There are people who call them Bush Black. in the city of Guyana. These are Maroons. One of their general, his name is called Zamzam. Zamzam is a holy water in Saudi Arabia. People drink that water. That general was named after that. But when America was discovered, many Europeans left their homes and they settled South and North America. But in those days, Red Indians are working on plantations, but they are not strong enough. Many people died because of the climate, the tropical disease. It was very hot when the Europeans decided to come to Africa. People in Africa are more stronger than Indians because they can work from 7 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock in the evening. That's why they transport them to America. They work in sugar plantation, tobacco, and the cotton. So all the goods will come back to Europe. That's why when you go to the museum, you see the triangular trade. So they will come back to Africa, they are slaves with the goods, and they transport them to America. And from America also, they come back to Europe for 400 years. That's why I used to tell you that no one can tell you how many slaves have been taken from this part of Africa. It's more than 10 to 15 million people. And the 10 million people, they transport them on non-destination, and they don't know where their family came from. They put them inside the boat like a sardine. So many people get sick. So anybody gets sick or weak, they will throw them inside the water, and they will eat by animal. And the boat will have 3 months before they arrive in America. So it's a very long journey. This is a long history. Just to give you most important part of it, or as I mentioned to you earlier on, the modern slavery today is a human trafficking. It's all over the world. Even some part of Africa, you go to Niger to Nigeria, you go to Kenya to Sudan, Libya to Italy, even Morocco to Spain, you go to South America, Ecuador to Argentina, Mexico to California, even Romania to Holland. So people are taking more money from people, telling them that you have a good modern slave.
Slavery
That's
is
it's,
now
it's
over.
not, yeah, it's all over, yeah. So you want to share something before
Just
we
a
go?
little, like he said rightly, because slave trade is so wide and broad that there are so many things involved in it, including the Kunta Kinte. Why Kunta Kinte? Everybody talks about him, and he become outstanding, that name. Kunta was captured from that village together with other slaves because he went out to fetch firewood, and he was captured because he was overpowered. With a lot of group, all his mates ran away, but he would not run. He wants to know who they are and what their mission is. But a man cannot fight a dozen.
No.
So he was overpowered, and he was brought here. When he was brought to the island here, because before coming here, there is a small slave house on the land. They call it San Domingo. San Domingo act like a substation to the James Island. This is where they bring everybody in and keep them. Give them a very little food just to survive. So they are weak. Because when they are that strong, it will be difficult to bring them here.
Yeah.
So they weaken them by giving them little food. And when they bring them to the island, they started feeding them before the boat arrived. When Kunta got here, he never wanted to listen to his masters. He wants to go home. He tried by all means, it's not possible. That is why Kunta spent a fortnight, 2 weeks on the island here, but he all in the dungeon. That is the slave house, Lamin will show you. Okay. So he spent all his time there, and when the boat arrives, he was taken. He believes he was taken through the small river, across to the bigger one, and to the unknown destination. That is from the river Gambia to the Atlantic Ocean and to the Americas. Lamin said Kunta was given a name Toby, because the first thing they try to do is to change your identity. If you're Lamin, you end up being John, Paul, or Peter. Then his name was changed. He was mercilessly tortured to accept that name. He made several attempts to escape, but none was successful. The last time he got that trial and he was caught, he was given an option, either to be amputated or to be castrated. He never wanted to be castrated. He holds his private part and make a strange noise that make them understand that he never wanted to be castrated. Then part of his right foot was chopped off. That makes him a valueless slave. He can't walk in the fields anymore because he was limping. So there is a lady called Belle who was next to her. Belle was helping her, trying to heal her, and whose African name was Fanta. When he was healed completely, then there was a law that was passed to say slaves can intermarry. And he quickly jumped and get married to Belle. And they got a daughter called Kissy. Kissy grew up to be a fine girl, but Kunta used to take Kissy to the Mississippi River and said, this is like the Kambi Bolong. Kambi Bolong means the river Gambia in Mandinga. Kissy grew up to be a fine girl. She was also sold out to a plantation owner who raped her, and they got a son called George. George grew up to be a good boy, strong, and he was good in cockfighting. He was called Chicken George. Then that is where the name came from. So this is how it all started until Alex Haley. Alex became the 7th generation of Kunta Kinte, but very well educated. It took him 12 good years going around to search for his origin. But there was a Pan-African summit in Manchester way back in 1945 where he met a Gambian scholar and asked him, where in Africa can I find the Kambibola? Then he was directed to the Gambia, to the Ministry of Tourism, and back to the family of Lamin, that is the Kinte Kunda family, of which they narrated the story to him. Alex, 85% already he knew, and this is where they accepted each other as a family. So the movie was started from the village to here, and then from the rest in America. That makes Alex a very rich man because the series were out and the book was also out. That makes him a very well known. So that is why Kunta Kinte's name was outstanding, because he stood by his words that he wants to find back his origin one day, and then he did, because his great-grandchildren did find out. That is why Jamin Jackson, who is the brother of Michael Jackson, who came here and talked to our president to change the name from St. James Island to Kunta Kinte Island. Okay?
Okay.
So thank you for your time.
Idea of Kunta Kinte now.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're
Thank you very
welcome.
much. Vamos para adentro.
So this is the most horrible part we have on the island. They put the Kunta Kinte and the stubborn slave here. No women, no children. When they kidnap them from the mainland, they put them inside a small boat and they tie them with the chain. So many people get sick because inside the boat it was very tiny. So when they first came here, there's no medication for them, no doctor. All what they have to do, they take a bucket of water, the salt one, and they will stand there. They will pour water on them so they can feel them better before they transport them. Because people who buy slave in America, they need only the good one. If you bring the bad one, they don't buy it. So they need only the good one. That's why they put water on them before they transport them. So 20 people will be here, 10 will die, only 10 people survive. It's the most horrible part we have on the island. If somebody die here, can have 5 days here before they take the dead body out. You see, if you want to kill yourself, they have a chain here. They tie them with the chains with their hands and their leg. You can see 20 people. When they chain them, it is not easy for you to kill yourself. From there, they put fire there also. They brand them, giving them the number. All the slaves have a number before they transport them. Yeah? So that's why they have the round stone over there. And they also have a kitchen over there near the baobab. They have a kitchen where they cook. So this place, they change all the names of the slaves, from African name to American name. That's why many people don't know their family names. The names they give to them, that's a Fanny, Lucy, Abraham, Clara, Sierra, Nancy, William, or Jackson. You see those names in the museum. That's the names they give to them. So now your family name will be disappeared. So everything starts here. So we call this place council room for the record. You have to come from the slave yard and they give you another name. You see, this is administrative area where the Europeans stay. It was a story building. Number 2 is the one here. This is 2012. So this one never fired. Yeah? This one is the big one, but never fired. If you want to fire, this one can go 750 meters. And this is a tower. You can see the map. Yeah, that's a map of the island. Ellen was like this before, yeah? It's a UNESCO site, yeah? You can tell.
It becomes a white liquid like milk. You need a cotton and put it in, and then put it in the hole. It kills the pain, but it tastes so horrible, you know? But then all good things don't taste good, huh? So obviously.
That's true.
So it's called the Sodom apple, eh?
Sweat, it's not dry. And then before we live in a grass house like this.
Yeah.
So when they attack them, they just burn their houses. When they run away for their own safety, they kidnap the whole family.
So that is what is left on the island.
The island.
All these slave houses are
Inside
gone.
all water.
It's only the center that is left.
10 minutes.
But now it is under the World
Heritage
Heritage Site. It's protected. The government, like Lamin said, were giving a lot of money to protect this island so that it will be preserved for the generations coming. Yeah?
Last picture.
I don't